All right, good morning, everyone. I know it's 10 o'clock. I'm excited to get started, but I want to give everyone a couple of extra minutes because it is the first day. But welcome, welcome, and I'll be back in a couple minutes. All right, good morning. I think we have just about everyone here, so I am going to get started. Um, Welcome to Sci 245, Statistics for the Behavioral Sciences. My name is Dr. McKibben, and I really want to welcome you to the course. I know that statistics is not everyone's favorite course that they're going to take. I understand that, but I really am looking forward to helping guide you through the material, and hopefully it'll be a positive experience for you. Okay. So as much as I would love to get to know you guys, we're not gonna like take a full roll call, at least not at the beginning of today. Maybe at the end, we'll check in with a few folks and see what's going on. But let me introduce myself to you. Okay. So my background is actually in clinical psychology. That's where I got my PhD. And so if you're interested in clinical psychology, please feel free to, let me know if you want to chat about anything, chat about grad school life, that sort of thing. I'm happy to do that with you. And then I kind of took a left turn and I decided to get a postdoc in psychiatric epidemiology from Hopkins. And basically, the reason I did that and why I really like psychiatric epidemiology is that while clinical psychology kind of focuses on the individual, psychiatric epidemiology focuses on the whole community or the whole country or something like that. So, for example, if you wanted to ask the question, a psychiatric epidemiological type question, you might ask, how do we reduce the rate of suicidality in the US Army? And that's actually a research study I was a part of a little while back. Okay. So my current research is primarily in the areas of trauma and mental health service use, but I always have this focus on assessment and methodology. For example, one of the pieces of research I'm doing right now relates to malingering. And if you're not familiar with malingering, it's basically when someone kind of fakes their symptoms, be it cognitive symptoms or mental health symptoms. And why would someone do that? Well, let's say you were in a motor vehicle accident and you want to get additional money from the insurance company, or you want to, sue the other person or what have you. One might fake symptoms. So how do we identify people who are real from people who are faking symptoms? We basically do a malingering test, and that's one of the pieces of research I'm involved with. So think this is okay. All right. By the way, if we ever have a Zoom bomb situation, I will try to get the person out of the meeting immediately and carry on from there. If I really have to, I'll end and then we can always restart. But hopefully that doesn't happen throughout our semester. Anyhow, so back to me. So because I've always had this love for statistics and research methods, and it's given me the opportunity to actually get involved in a lot of different types of research, such as autobiographical memory, cultic studies, Listeria neurotoxins, personality change after stroke, marketing research, the suicide study I mentioned to you before, et cetera, et cetera. So really wacky, wild areas of research. And if you have a passion for statistics or research methods, maybe that will be you too someday, or sometime in the near future. Okay, so if that's, most people really actually really like to only be involved in one area of research. I happen to really enjoy a number of different areas. So anyhow, I thought I'd share a little bit about myself. And now what I would love to do is to get into our syllabus. So I'm going to go ahead and change screens on you if I can. Hopefully, maybe not. Show all my windows, please. Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on here. I apologize. For some reason, my syllabus isn't pulling up. So the syllabus is, I'm going to have to see if I can't. I'm going to stop the share for a second so I can get around a little bit. And welcome to those who just joined, by the way. And I can't minimize Zoom. This is wonderful. Okay, so give me 1 second so I can try and pull up our syllabus real quick. I apologize for this delay. The syllabus is posted. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, we'll be with you in just a second. Syllabus is posted on G2L along with a document telling you how to join Zoom meetings. So please feel free to take a look at both of those. Now if I can share my screen again. Okay, that's lovely. Share screen. Here we go. And share. Wonderful. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you, which is, of course, the syllabus for the course. Along those lines, please feel free to call me either Dr. McKibben or Professor McKibben. Either one works for me. And you see my office, which I just included just for fun, where I'm obviously not using that this semester, but you see my email address, which is important and a great way to reach me. I also have office hours. Mondays and Fridays 12 to 2, Wednesdays 12 to 1. And they are by appointment only just because of the nature of Zoom and the way we're doing things. But it's super easy to schedule with me. Just go to this link, the Once Hub link that you see right there, and you can schedule with me. And just sign up for a time and you'll get notified, I'll get notified, it'll all go very nicely. If you have any struggle with that, please do let me know and I will be more than happy to work with you to find a time. Also, if you can't meet during one of those times, but you really want to meet with me, also email me and we'll work something out, okay? So as long as you're in contact with me, we generally can get something to go. Okay. So what is the text for this course? It's by Salkind and Frey, and it's called Statistics for People Who Think They Hate Statistics. You may be a lover of statistics, the book still works. It's the 7th edition, and I'll be honest with you, it's my first semester using this particular statistics book. I just recently switched, and I'll tell you why. I like the old statistics book I used, but they went to a purely online version. And that I did not care for, nor did my students. At least a lot of my students told me that they really did not care for the fully online text. You may be a person who loves online text, which is super, but a lot of my students didn't. And I found this text, and it actually really is a nice one. I think it describes things well. I think it has a nice pace to it. So hopefully you'll think kindly of it as well. Okay, this text is available through Westchester University Bookstore, as well as through the following online vendors. Okay, so you'll see that through Sage Pub or through Amazon, and of course I'm sure you can find other vendors that sell it as well. Equipment for this class, the only thing you really need is a simple scientific calculator, and by that I don't mean something fancy, TI 90, whatever they're up to. No, I just mean something simple that you can get for $10 or less. So what does it need to have? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, squares, and square roots. Don't forget that square root symbol. That's a pain to do by hand, so you won't want to do that. So please get one that has all those things. And again, it's a pretty minor thing, but you will want to have that. I do have a few useful websites for you. I love them all. I think the last one's a pretty cool site in particular, but it's unfortunately not free. If you are interested in a site that will guide you through the individual statistical tests, especially using SPSS, that last one is a pretty cool site. Again, these are all just for you. None of these are required in terms of the websites. Okay, so let's go down to the course description. This course is an introduction to the fundamentals of statistics with an emphasis on the use of statistics in the behavioral sciences. One of my favorite definitions is below. Statistics is the science of learning from data and of measuring, controlling, and communicating uncertainty. I love that word, uncertainty. Because in statistics, we're talking about uncertainty or probability. Always. There's no definite. That's statistics. Okay. And it thereby provides the navigation essential for controlling the course of scientific and societal advances. Okay. Dual emphasis will be on the development of conceptual understanding and real-world applications. So you will spend a great deal of time in this course applying the statistical principles to real-life situations. You're going to learn how to perform a variety of statistical procedures, and importantly, that a particular statistical procedure is dependent on the nature of the data and the type of research design being employed. So what do I mean by that last statement? What I mean is, if I give you a scenario, by the end of this course, you should be able to tell me, oh, that's this statistic. Okay. So good news, you're not going to be required to memorize any statistical formulas. These are readily available. I don't think that's a good use of your memory space or time. Instead, we're going to place emphasis on the logical underpinnings and rationale behind the formulas, as well as appropriately applying them. And then finally, a portion of your experience will involve the use of a major statistical analysis program called SPSS. You will learn how data is entered into SPSS, how to select an appropriate analysis, and how to interpret the outcome of SPSS analyses. So you're hearing a program here. You might be wondering, oh my goodness, do I have to buy this program? The answer is no. It is freely available to all Westchester University students through RamCloud. If you're familiar with RamCloud, great. If you're not, I'll teach you about it a little bit later on in this course when we get to that. But it is freely available, nothing you had to purchase there. The next is a COVID-19 statement. So if you've already had a couple classes this morning, you may have already seen this. If you've not, it certainly is useful for you to read. I encourage you to read it on your own. And I do share the kinds of modalities that are going to be used for this class. Okay. All right. And then we're going to get more into this in just a moment. The learning objectives and educational goals I'm going to skip as well, but I do want to point out that every objective is matched to an assessment tool. Okay? All right. What I want to get to is the course format, because this is important. The content portion of this course takes the form of pre-recorded lectures that will be prepared and uploaded to YouTube. And all videos can be found at my YouTube channel, and there's the link. So they're not all there yet. They're going to continue to be posted throughout the semester. You'll see the first one there, you'll see the second one there later today, and they'll continue to be posted there. Okay, so what am I doing in this class? I'm using a flipped classroom style. And what does that mean? It means you're going to review the lectures on your own on YouTube, and then come into class with any questions that you might have regarding the material. So, while your active participation in class is essential to the learning process and you're encouraged to pose questions at any time, and occasionally you may be asked to work in small groups, you'll notice that you don't have to attend every class. You will notice in the Zoom class schedule guide that classes are printed in either black or red. And while I do encourage you to attend all classes, the ones printed in red are the most critical to attend. See, the ones in black are going to be for questions. So if you have questions about our first lecture that's posted online on YouTube for you, then you might want to come to the class that deals with questions for that lecture. If you don't have any questions about that lecture, you may choose to skip that class. But the red ones are all going to be about activities or learning something in SPSS or group work. So I do encourage you to attend the red classes. And we're going to look at this actual Zoom guide a little bit later. Okay. And please note, all classes will be recorded and posted on YouTube for the benefit of all class members. Again, you could get sick one day, right? And you miss, and you're like, oh, I really wanted to attend the question discussion section on this particular topic. I couldn't be there. Maybe someone asked the same question I would have asked. Well, my plan is to record all lectures, post them for the benefit of all students. If that causes you any discomfort to seize anything like that, please come talk to me. I'm happy to try to address that with you and make you feel more comfortable. So, like I said, please come talk to me if that's an issue for you. Okay, next. So obviously I'm going to use YouTube a lot, right? Because that's where I'm going to post all the lectures. The other thing I'm going to use a lot is D2L. If you are new to D2L, or if you're new to YouTube and you would like some help with either one, please just let me know. I'm happy to walk you through either one. But you are responsible for getting all your assignments, class notes, all that kind of stuff from D2L or from YouTube. Okay, and in general, it kind of says it throughout the syllabus. I'll just tell you once. In general, late stuff will not be accepted unless a documentable university sanctioned event or emergency arises. Okay, all right, so that's the general rule. Assessment. This is important. Exams. There will be 3 online exams during the semester, as well as a comprehensive final exam, and you see all the dates there. Okay. All exams are to be done individually, and I encourage you to use basic calculators for the exams and during class. I do not want you to use phones, iPods, iPads, any kind of pad, computers, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Generally, same thing, makeup exams will not be granted unless, of course, we have that documentable university sanctioned event or emergency. Okay, so let's talk about homework a little bit. And there is a small error here, which I'm going to point out and I will fix for you guys and repost this. There are 2 main categories of homework. You see how it says conceptual computational and then in parentheses it says my stat lab. Please ignore the my stat lab. That's an error, but it should say conceptual computational assignments and SPSS lab assignments. Now, both are designed to increase your conceptual understanding of the material in the course and to learn to apply these techniques to real-world applications. Basically, as far as you're concerned, they're all going to be, with the exception of one, which I'll talk about in just a second, they're all going to be posted on D2L for you, easily accessible, so that you can go ahead and complete them there. The conceptual assignments are worth 100 points and the SPSS lab assignments are worth 50 points. However, I'm going to give you the opportunity to earn additional bonus points in each category throughout the semester. So I said there's an exception. Let's talk about the exception. The very first assignment you're given is an arithmetic review. It's going to be a Word document. Okay. Now you can either type into the Word document if you so choose, and then upload it to D2L, or you can print it out, write your answers, and take pictures of it or scan it or whatever you do to get it back to D2L, okay? So that's the only assignment that works that way. I do ask that you don't use, you can use Pages all you want, just don't send me a Pages document because I'm a PC person and I really can't read it. So any kind of image is fine, PDF is fine, Word doc is fine, those things are all fine. Okay, so that's your homework for you. Quizzes. Quizzes will be made available to you throughout the course. You will learn about these by reviewing the lectures. The quizzes will be short, 1 to 2 questions, and will assess your understanding of the topics discussed in class. I will drop the lowest quiz score when computing your final course grade, and the quizzes will be worth 50 points. Okay, so you're gonna listen to a lecture, and at the end of the lecture, if there is a quiz, and not every lecture has a quiz, it'll tell you there's a quiz for you. Now let's say you're really stuck, you can't get to the lecture in time, and you want to know if there's a quiz due, just check D2L. And if there's a quiz due, it'll tell you, and you can complete it and earn your points. Okay. All right. But of course, the quizzes are based on the lecture, so you're better off listening to the lecture and then completing the quiz. All right. So how does the grading scheme work? Well, like I said, the conceptual computational assignments are worth 100 points. SPSS is worth 50. Quizzes are worth 50. In-class exams, those first 3 exams I talked about are worth 300 points, 100 apiece, and the final exam is worth 200 points. So that's how it gets all added up. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to drop one of the in-class exams or half the final. So then there'll be a total of 600 points, and the following are the point ranges for each letter grade. Sometimes students have a question about, what do I mean by half the final? That's kind of a crazy thing, right? So let's say your grades for the course are, I'm just going to make up some numbers, 84 for exam 1, 86 for exam 2, 82 for exam 3, 78% on the final. Well, that 78 would be counted twice, right? 78, 78. But because that's your lowest grade, I take one of those 78s away. That's how it works. Okay? All right. Let's talk about some policies. All right. So, the primary method of contact for the course is through D2L, and of course I am posting stuff on YouTube. So those are the 2 things you want to check all the time. Okay, very, very frequently, because you want to get the new lecture on YouTube, you want to get any other information and assignments on D2L. Okay, so email policy. What I really want to share with you here is my response. I regularly check and reply to WCU emails on weekdays from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you send an email during this time period, I'll typically reply within 24 hours, Monday to Friday. So if you send an email during the evening after 7 p.m., you can expect a response the following weekday. If you send an email over the weekend, you can expect a response the following Monday. Now, sometimes I'm quicker than this. Sometimes it's 8 o'clock in the evening. I'm up, I'm doing things. I see your email and I'll reply. I'm just not guaranteeing that will happen. This is like the guarantee I offer you. Okay. Okay, so attendance, this is important, guys. So while class attendance is not required, it's strongly encouraged. In particular, it's most important to attend those classes printed in red in your Zoom class schedule guide. And any class where you have questions about the accompanying lecture. Okay, so, you know, it's kind of your responsibility, but you really want to be there on the red days, black days, if you have questions. Okay, and we'll look at that. We're going to look at that Zoom class schedule guide in a moment. I'm skipping past things we don't really need to talk about. but I do want to talk about the students with disabilities. So there's a new address, new web address for the Office of Services for Students with Disabilities. If you have a disability or need an accommodation, and you have, the paperwork or what have you, please contact me sooner than later. In fact, please contact me ASAP. The sooner I know, the more I can help you, okay? So email, set up a meeting with me, whatever works for you, but please let me know, okay? And this is all important, good stuff. I'm just not taking class time to go through it all. It doesn't mean I don't think it's important. Class cancellation policy, I hope with everything we're doing, we don't have to cancel any classes, but it's 2020. Who knows? If we do, I'll let you know, okay? All right. Lots of good places to get help on campus. I've tried to put together a few of these places for you, so please feel free to look through this list. Please take advantage of me and ask me questions. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. And the psychology department webpage. Okay, so if you go to West Chester University, you go to psychology, go to the main department webpage. They put together a whole nice list of things too. There's a big button on the screen there that says, here's some resources. Click that button, you'll get a whole bunch more resources too. But there's lots of good resources out there, including the Counseling Center, the Resource Pantry, all kinds of good stuff. So please feel free to take advantage of that. Okay, so now I need to view this again to the page with, perfect. All right, so now hopefully in front of you, you see the Zoom class schedule guide. Let me go through this with you a little bit to give you an idea of how it works. We won't go through the whole thing, but I do want to give you an idea of how it works, and then I want to open up to questions, okay? So let's look at the very far left column, that's the date. Okay, straightforward enough. The lecture to view today is in the next column. Now it says lectures, but it really is only one lecture per day. So the first day, today or tomorrow, you want to view the lecture 1, samples and populations. This is posted on G2L for you. And it is about 36 minutes long, I want to say. So not terribly long. So you want to check out that lecture. Now, I'm going to give you a hint, and I won't always tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this. There's a quiz associated with that lecture. So, go through the lecture, listen to it at the end. It gives you the information about the quiz. Go ahead, go on to D2L, take the 1 to 2 question. It's multiple choice, open book. You got this. Quiz, and you'll be set. If you have questions about the lecture, you will see in the column all the way to the right, what will we address during today's Zoom meeting? Well, for today, we're addressing a welcome, a syllabus, and an introduction to the course. Next time, on Wednesday, we'll be addressing samples and populations open questions. So if you have a question about that first lecture or anything that goes with it, please feel free to come to the open questions class and we will address those. Now then you notice, let's go to the middle, assignment. Arithmetic review. Well, that's the assignment I already told you about. And you can see it's going to be needed to be uploaded to D2L by 8:31 or next Monday by 11:59 p.m. I have some good news about this assignment actually. First of all, let me tell you, I'm going to post it by the end of the day today, and it will be posted either under content or assignments. I'm going to try to get it under assignments for you because I think that's a little more intuitive. Maybe I'll just post it both places to make your life easier, okay? That's what I'll try and do. But if you don't see it under assignments, please look under content. Arithmetic review. So I am not going to grade you on your quality, on whether you got things right or wrong for this assignment. For this assignment only, I'm not going to grade you on right or wrong. I'm just going to grade you on your effort. So as long as you give it a good effort and answer all the questions, you'll be in perfect shape for this first assignment. And why am I giving you an arithmetic review, you might ask? Well, here's the answer. This sets you up for knowing all the kinds of arithmetic you need to know for this class. So it's going to cover order of operations. It's going to cover some decimal stuff. It kind of cover negative numbers, so good stuff that you need to know for this, okay? And you'll see it doesn't go too deep because we're not going to go too very deep in terms of the arithmetic for this class, okay? All right, so let's go down to Wednesday, 8/26. You see it's the second lecture, probability day 1. And then you go across, you see we're actually, like I said, we're answering the questions for samples and populations. Then if you go to Friday, you see, oh, that's a red day, probability day 1 practice. It's actually going to be a fun practice in terms of probability. So please come to that. That's a red day. Okay. Now let's scroll down a little bit. I want to show you a couple things. You scroll down, you see, oh, here's our very first real homework aside from the arithmetic review, and it's going to be due by 9/14. It'll be posted by 9/4, due by 9/14. When it's a purple day like this, or magenta, or whatever you'd like to call this color, it means there's no class. So this comes up for Labor Day. Of course, it comes up for Thanksgiving. And it comes up one more time I want to show you, which is Monday, 9/28. That is a Jewish holiday called Yom Kippur, and there's no class that day. Okay, but I do make sure to answer all your other, like I have open question days for every day you need, so don't worry, you're covered. And then you can see when there's an exam, it's posted on the right side, and you can see how we'll be doing those. So that's pretty much everything on this I want to show you. I just want to make sure you got a hang of this. If you have any questions, of course you can ask, and I'm going to open it up for questions in just a moment. The last thing I just want to point out is after your Thanksgiving break, the nice thing is I'm hoping to cover all material before Thanksgiving break so that we're just doing review over Thanksgiving break. That's my hope, and we'll see how that works out. Okay, once again, 2020, I'm a little bit loath to make predictions, but I'm hopeful. So there's a couple of things I want to chat with you about, just a little bit of a nice introduction, but this is all I wanted to say about the syllabus and those sort of things. So if you have any questions for me, I invite you to find the little chat icon and please type something in there. So basically, if you can't find it, for me, it's on the lower part of the screen under the 3 dots under More. The very top item is Chat. It may be someplace different for you. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think if you have any questions that you'd like to type in. Yeah, here we go. What if we haven't gotten our textbook yet? Don't fret too much about the textbook getting it right. You want to have it, but if you haven't gotten it right away, that's okay. I would order it if you can and try and get it as soon as possible, but don't worry too much. It is really helpful for the SPSS part to have it. You're going to want it then, but the rest is reading to kind of add on to and supplement what I'm talking about. You'll be okay if you get it sooner than later, but if you don't have it right away, don't panic, okay? What else? Any others right now? I'll give you a minute, and then I'm going to move on to the other thing I want to talk about. Oh yeah, wonderful question. Thank you. One of the quizzes from the lectures due. Great question. Okay, so let me go back to this thing. I'm going to minimize my chat so I can show you this. Let's go back to the first day. Here we go. It's always due the day after the lecture is posted by 11:59 p.m. that night. So in other words, Monday, lecture, right? That's this one. The first quiz, which I already told you there's a quiz for this lecture. Remember, there's not a quiz for every lecture, but this quiz will be due Tuesday night, tomorrow night by 11:59 p.m. Remember, it's 2 questions. It's open book. You've got this. You can do it. Just make sure you get that done by tomorrow night. And same, so if there was a quiz, let's say for a given Wednesday, it would be due Thursday night, okay, by 11:59 p.m. So great question. Let me open the chat back up and see. I don't think anyone else has put anything in yet, but I'm just going to look. Okay. Keep chatting, keep putting up questions. I'll come back to you. One more. The quizzes and homework / reviews will be posted to D2L. Yes, so the quizzes, the homeworks are all posted to D2L. I'm not sure what you mean by reviews, but yes, the lecture notes, I'm not sure what you mean by reviews. Maybe you can clarify a little bit. But the quizzes and homework stuff, you'll be answering all that stuff on D2L, okay? So yes, D2L will be your friend. I hope that answers it. Okay, so we have a question about what resources may be available to someone if they struggle with mathematics. And I think that's a great question that we can address here. So I'd like to address that. Couple things you might want to do. First of all, of course, I invite you to take advantage of using me as a resource. I encourage you to form a study group with classmates if that helps. And number 4, I really want to point this out, Learning Assistance and Resource Center, LARC. There is LARC tutoring typically for Sci 245, and I believe there is this semester as well, but the tutoring goes kind of fast. People want it. It's great. So please visit their website, schedule an appointment, and get on with their tutoring. I think students do find it very helpful. And of course, if you think that you should have accommodations for this class, please go to Office of Service for Students with Disabilities. Okay, so those are some great resources for you. The websites I gave you are also good resources. There's, another one I just mentioned off the top of my head is Khan Academy. They may not do everything. The only reason I don't put it into my syllabus is they may not do everything the same way I do, so I'm a little bit reticent, but I think they're a great resource. So those are some possible resources you can take advantage of. Please always feel free to chat with me for more. Okay. So let me show you a couple quick things, and then I'll come back to any more questions that have come up in the meantime, okay? So let me do this. New share. I want to go back to, let's try this. That work? I think that worked. Yes. Let me go back up. So, yeah, let's look at these pictures real quick. You don't have to take notes on this. This is just kind of a little bit of an introduction for you, just to give you a little bit of sense of what statistics are about and what they're not about. So take a look at these pictures here. We have Medusa, we have Flat Earth, we have Bigfoot, we have the three-headed dog. Is there a commonality perhaps to these pictures that you're picking up on? If so, please enter a response into the chat window if you would, if you see anything in common about them. Aha, we have someone who found something, I think, in common. Either that or they have another question. Either way, it's fine. They're all myths. Yes, absolutely right. They're all myths. And so what I would like to do is a little bit of myth busting. We're going to start some sloppy statistics sleuthing. By the way, this is my fanciest slideshow for the course, so please enjoy. Okay, so the first myth. Statistics are always needed to move science forward. It's a myth. They're not always needed to move science forward. They're a lovely thing. I love them, but, we don't always need them. Can you think of an example maybe of historical science, something that happened where we don't necessarily need statistics to show that it's really true? Again, please feel free to enter a response into the chat room if you have an answer. So when has something happened in science, any kind of science, I'm not just talking psychology, when have we had something happen where we didn't need statistics to help us out? Any responses? Any thoughts? It's a tough one. I'll give you that. I'll start you out. And then if you come up with something else, you feel free to type in. Okay, so, oh, we do have a response. Let's see, we have a couple responses. Okay. Yeah, how about like space travel, I think we're talking about, may not need it for their genetics and heredity. Also potentially true. Yeah, good answers, good answers. So like, right, because with heredity, we might be able to, there actually is some statistics in genetics now, but like initially when we saw the path of how blue eyes or brown eyes or whatever color eyes got moved down forward, we didn't necessarily have to use statistics to see that. So yeah, very good answers. I like both of them. So thank you for that. So let's take another example, like Thomas Edison and the light bulb. And Dr. Robert Hooke said, Edison had it easy. It doesn't take statistics to see that a light has come on, right? So that's a good one. 19th century physicians using anesthesia for the first time in surgeries. Can you imagine before that surgeries were done without anesthesia? I mean, how painful that must have been. So suddenly there's this anesthesia that can help people out, help them have less pain. And wow, those surgeons saw a difference right away. 20th century physicians saw that the first antibiotics cured previously fatal infections. Yeah, you can see that right away. You don't need statistics. So when do we need statistics? When is it critical? Well, it's when we're trying to make decisions about a large number of cases. That's where it comes in handy. So for example, I'll give you an example of birth control pills that were tested on hundreds before being distributed to the public because they're looking for side effects, right? Then millions had to use them for several years to show that some women would develop heart attacks and strokes. Then millions more, and years later, they finally figured out the risk factors for women were those who were over 35 who were smokers. Those were the ones at greatest risk. That's where statistics comes in handy. When you're trying to make these decisions about millions of cases or thousands of cases, that's where it comes in handy. And we're going to talk more about that as we go forward. Okay, so one more I want to show you. Statistics are only used by researchers. Statistics are only used by researchers. This is another myth. So who else uses statistics? Think about television. Think about maybe stuff you've seen. 3 out of 4. That's an old one. But think about maybe something you've seen on TV or somewhere else that maybe talked about statistics even though it wasn't a research situation. Once again, I'll get you started. Oh, we have a response. Let's see. Toothpaste commercials, medications, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Family Feud, good one. I like that one. Excellent answers. Yes, so thank you. Oh, and I saw an answer from before about evolution for non-statistics. Yeah, so that's great. All these answers are wonderful. Appreciate your participation. So absolutely right? Marketing's huge. Be it medication, be it toothpaste, be it whatever. Marketing people love to use statistics. Sports, fantasy football leagues, right? They love to use statistics. So lots of places like to use statistics. And even you maybe, even if you decide I'm never going to have anything else to do with research again once I'm done with my courses here, maybe you become a clinician, right? Maybe you come across a client who has a really challenging case. Maybe you want to read the literature to see what you can do to help this client. Guess what the literature is filled with? Statistics. Yep, you guessed it. So it may come in handy in your life as well. So statistics are really ubiquitous. Okay. All right. So there's more here. I could show you. That's sufficient for today. All I want to do now is come back to the chat and say to you guys, thank you so much for your participation today and for hanging out. And we'll go from here. Remember, your first quiz is due by tomorrow night. I look forward to seeing at least some of you, if not all of you, on Wednesday, and hopefully all of you on Friday for our first red day on probability. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Please feel free to hang back if you'd like to ask any more questions on the chat. Otherwise, I'll see you next time or in a couple times. Take care. Hello, there's just 2 of us left, so unless you have anything in particular, I'm going to go ahead and end the session today. If you do and you haven't found chat and you'd like to unmute your mic, please feel free to do that. Other than that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. So I'll give you just a moment. Okay, have a great rest of your day. I'm going to end it, but if you need anything, please let me know via email.